is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
And welcome to Ozarks Fox News at 9. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm John Adams.
And I'm Jennifer Abreu. Let's get right to your top headlines tonight. These stories are real new now. President Trump is firing National Security Advisor John Bolton. Bolton joined the administration last year, replacing H.R. McMaster. The president said he and his administration strongly disagreed with many of Bolton's suggestions, and that's what led to his dismissal.
Another death from lung disease related to vaping was announced today in Kansas. This now brings the total number of deaths to 6. 450 other cases of illnesses have been reported across the country linked to vaping.
And the NRA has filed a lawsuit against the city of San Francisco after the city's Board of Supervisors passed a resolution declaring the NRA a domestic terrorist organization. The NRA says that ruling violates the group's First Amendment rights. The board alleged the gun group spreads propaganda and seeks to deceive the public about the dangers of gun violence.
Well, making local news tonight, the man accused of abusing an 8-year-old girl is now on trial here in Springfield.
Today was the first full day of Kenneth Davis's case, who is being accused of 7 counts of child abuse and neglect. Frances Lynn was in court today covering day 1 of this trial.
An emotional day in court today as the alleged victim described her abuse in front of a judge and jury. This is the mugshot of what Davis looked like, and this is how he looks now. He looks different, and that was an important factor as the 2 young female witnesses did not recognize him in court. The state called several witnesses, starting with a registered nurse who described what the alleged victim said.
And I quote, "We went to the store and he spanked me with the belt. We went to the creek and he hit me with a rock on my knee. And he dumped me underwater." She also stated he hit me with a piece of wood. He choked me more than once. He put his knee against my chest. He held me underwater. At the creek, he slapped me and punched me.
The alleged victim, an 8-year-old girl, also testified saying Davis hit her, punched her, tried to make her drown herself, and pulled her hair. The next witnesses were a man who used to live with Davis and the alleged victim.
She had a busted foot. It was split like in the left leg, right in this general vicinity.
A woman who helped Davis get gas when his car broke down.
Her hair was real scraggly. She had a fat lip, and she had a mark underneath her eyes, a little bit of swelling underneath the left eye.
A nurse practitioner.
In 10 years of being at the CAC, have never seen the extent of these injuries except through textbook or through training and research.
And a Greene County deputy who was called to investigate the alleged victim's home.
I could tell immediately she was pretty bruised up and scratched up. She had bruises all over her body. Both of her eyes were swollen and bruised. Both of her upper and lower lip was bruised and bloody. She was just wearing an adult's shirt, so I could see her legs, which were also bruised and scratched up.
The trial will continue tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with the state calling more witnesses. Frances Lynn, Ozarks First.
Well, this man right behind me, Lawrence Timmons, was arraigned in court today. You may remember he was arrested and indicted recently in a 30-year-old cold case involving the death of Cynthia Smith. During the arraignment, the court filed a not guilty plea on Timmons' behalf until he is able to secure representation. He has requested a public defender, but the state is arguing he has the money to hire a private attorney. Timmons is facing a first-degree murder charge. Today, the judge said he could face the death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole if convicted.
Testimony in the trial of Adam Redding began today. He is charged with first-degree murder, among other charges dating back to 2017. He's accused of killing this man, his former employer and farmer, Carol Ford, in Dallas County. Several witnesses were called to the stand today, including the victim's wife, Linda Ford. She says Carol fired Redding due to his constant tardiness. She found her husband stabbed to death in November of 2017. Redding has pled guilty to 2 counts of forgery. Prosecutors say he forged 2 checks using Carol Ford's name. Redding's interrogation video was also played in court today.
What was it that he said that you thought that I had with you? What was it? I mean, at least I'm trying to put his hands on it. As simple as that.
The defense will get its turn tomorrow because this is a bench trial. There is no jury. It's unclear when the judge will make a ruling.
Well, new at 9 tonight, a young woman and an infant are both missing from Hollister. The police there issued an endangered persons advisory earlier tonight for 26-year-old Caitlin Michael and 4-month-old Braylon French. They were last seen at a residence on White River Mountain Boulevard in Hollister around 5 p.m. on Saturday. The pair could be using a silver 4-door vehicle. The advisory also says that Michael is known to have issues with drugs and mental illness. She did not arrive at work or attend scheduled doctor's visits.
A deadly accident in Brookline Station right outside of Springfield this morning. This happened at a home in a gated community called Springfield Farms off Farm Road 156. The Highway Patrol says 59-year-old Paul Martin was reaching inside of a car trying to get it out of park. An 89-year-old woman was driving, and we know she had the same last name, but troopers say she had her foot on the accelerator and the vehicle drug and struck Paul Martin. He was later pronounced dead at Mercy Hospital.
Well, with Americans waiting to see the end of the trade war with China, there has been big movement on the price of gold here in the U.S.
That's right. The price of gold has been rising over the past few years, but this year has been one of the best years ever for the precious metal. Our Jesse Inman explains what this means for the economy. Jesse.
Yeah, guys, right now an ounce of gold would run you about $1,500, which is a big rebound from the past few years before the recession. But like many aspects of the economy, its future is unstable.
We check it every single day, sometimes multiple times a day.
The price of gold, as you can imagine, is a big part of what Cornerstone Fine Jewelry does every day. They sell and buy gold here. Office manager Marshall Davidson explains what they look for when someone wants to come in and sell.
We're looking at it by the purity of the metal. What metal is it? How pure is it? How much does it physically weigh? And then we give you a price based on what we need as far as recycle. We're looking at basically sending this off and refining it.
According to CNN Money, the price of gold currently sits just below $1,500, up over 20% from this time last year.
We have and we have adjusted our payout prices accordingly. Somebody brings in an ounce of gold, we're not going to give them $1,500. We try to stay at a certain percentage, per.
Certified financial planner Stephen Evans says many people are buying up gold right now due to the state of the world's economy.
A lot of the reason gold's kind of been going up is that throughout the world, there is like $17 trillion of negative yielding debt out there. So people are looking for a safe haven to put their money where they can earn something. So gold is typically known as a safe haven.
But Evans says history has shown that gold can be just as volatile as the stock market.
I mean, in 2008, it shot up all the way to $1,800 and then fell to $1,000. It's not like there's no dividends in gold. There's no, it is all what people think it's worth. It's not like a company that has profits and you can see like its financials. Gold has no financials. It is perceived value of what people think it's worth.
Now, analysts at Citigroup predicted that gold prices could hit about $2,000 an ounce in the next couple of years, but those prices, of course, can change very quickly. Gold prices today lost about 0.25%, but it's still up about 23% on the year.
All right, thanks, Jesse. Good information. We are learning new information tonight about the application process for medical marijuana in Missouri. The Department of Health and Senior Services released the list of businesses who have applied to run a medical marijuana facility. 99 applications were filed with a Springfield address. The majority of those are seeking to operate dispensaries. The next most sought after facility was manufacturing facilities. In total, there were more than 2,100 applications filed in the state. According to Amendment 2, state officials must award licenses to applicants no later than December 31st of this year.
Well, turning now to weather, the relief has not arrived yet, Jamie, for these summer-like temperatures that we've been stuck in here for a while.
Yeah, the good news is it looks like we are going to be able to put a dent in this summer ridge later this week. That'll cause the heat wave to take a pause as we wrap up the week, but we're not done with this unusually warm spell of weather. I'll talk about when I think that end may come after this break.
You're watching Ozarks Fox News at 9 with John Adams, Jennifer Abreu, and weather with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.